Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, I will be explaining the last two 5-mark questions left in the model paper 2. Along with that, I will be explaining the match the following and arrange in chronological order in your second model paper. So after this, the coming videos will be about 10-mark questions. So with that, we will finish the second model paper for reduced syllabus. So before getting into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends. Even now, almost 60% of the people seeing the channel have not subscribed. So please consider subscribing the channel and sharing it with your friends. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So as I told you, today's video is about the next two 5-mark questions. So the first question which we are going to discuss is explain the achievements of Mahmud Gawan. Achievements of Mahmud Gawan. So this is about the achievements of a personality. So first we will see about the introduction. He was a chief minister and an able administrator. So Mahmud Gawan was a chief minister as well as an able administrator. And he was born in Gawan in Persia. His birthplace was Gawan in Persia, and actually he had come to India for the purpose of trade. He was appointed as a chief minister by Muhammad Shah III. So the king during that time was Muhammad Shah III. Okay, he was the king. Now let us see what were his achievements. So his first achievement we can see is he conquered places like Hubli, Belgavi and Goa from the Vijayanagara Empire. So the main achievement of Mahmud Gawan was his conquest. So the first conquest which he made was he conquered Hubli, Belgavi and Goa from the Vijayanagara Empire. Later he made a treaty with the Sultan of Malwa. He made a treaty with the Sultan of Malwa, and then he established political stability. He was successful in establishing political stability. So that was his second achievement. He established a treaty with the Sultan of Malwa and he made political stability. So Mahmud Gawan actually was a chief minister and an able administrator. He was born in Gawan, Persia, and later he came to India for the purpose of trade. He was appointed as a chief minister by Muhammad Shah III, and the main achievements of Mahmud Gawan, he conquered Hubli, Belgavi and Goa region from the Vijayanagara Empire. He made a treaty with the Sultan of Malwa and established political stability. Now the next achievement, we can tell the third achievement of Mahmud Gawan, he conquered Rajamahendri and Kondavidu region of Orissa. Okay, so Rajamahendri and Kondavidu region of Orissa was also conquered by Mahmud Gawan. Other than this conquest, he increased the number of provinces from 4 to 8. He increased the number of provinces from 4 to 8. This was done for the convenience of administration. So for the convenience of administration, Mahmud Gawan increased the provinces from 4 to 8. So for the convenience of administration, he increased the number of provinces from 4 to 8, and these provinces were called as Tharafs. Okay, they were called as Tharafs. So this was also an achievement or a contribution, we can say, of Mahmud Gawan. Then regarding the land revenue, land was surveyed and the revenue was fixed. Revenue was fixed. After surveying the land, revenue was fixed and revenue was collected only in cash. That was another speciality of Muhammad Gawan. Land was surveyed and revenue was fixed and revenue was collected only in cash. So, he conquered Rajamahendri and Kondavidu region of Orissa. The number of provinces were increased from 4 to 8 for their convenience of administration. They were called as tariffs. Land was surveyed and revenue was fixed and revenue was collected only in cash. Now the next major achievement of Muhammad Gawan we can say is he built a madrasa at Bidar. Muhammad Gawan was very famous for the construction of a madrasa at Bidar. Madrasa at Bidar. And there was also a library. Okay, there was also a very famous library which consisted of 3,000 manuscripts. The library consisted of 3,000 manuscripts from all over the world. So he built a madrasa at Bidar and there was also a library with almost 3,000 manuscripts from all over the world. Now Muhammad Gawan's progress was not tolerated by the native Muslim leaders. The progress of Muhammad Gawan was not tolerated or not liked by the native Muslim leaders. So he made a lot of progress and this was not liked by the native Muslim leaders and some false allegations were made against him and he was beheaded and killed. He was killed in 1481 CE. So many false allegations were made against him and he was beheaded in 1481 CE. And Bahmani kingdom started declining after his death. So after the death of Muhammad Gawan, Bahmani kingdom slowly started declining because he played a very important role in the progress or development of the kingdom and the kingdom started declining slowly after his death. And 5 Shahi Sultans of Deccan later declared independence. When Bahmani Sultans slowly started declining, 5 Shahi Sultan of Deccan, they declared their independence. This is about Muhammad Gawan. So he built a madrasa at Bidar. There was also a library where he collected 3,000 manuscripts from different parts of the world. The problem was his progress was not tolerated by native Muslim leaders and false allegations were made against him and he was beheaded in 1481 CE. And Bahmani kingdom slowly started declining after his death and 5 Shahi Sultans of Deccan declared their independence. So this was the achievements of Muhammad Gawan. So now let us see the points once more. The question is, explain the achievements of Muhammad Gawan. He was a chief minister and an able administrator. He was born in Gawan in Persia and came to India for trade. He was appointed as chief minister by Muhammad Shah III. Achievements: he conquered Hubli, Belgavi and Goa region from the Vijayanagara Empire. He made a treaty with the Sultan of Malwa and established political stability. He conquered Rajamahendri and Kondavidu region of Orissa. The number of provinces was increased from 4 to 8 for convenience of administration and they were called tariffs. Land was surveyed and revenue was fixed and revenue was collected only in cash. He built a madrasa at Bidar. There was also a library where he collected 3,000 manuscripts from all over the world. His progress was not tolerated by the native Muslim leaders. False allegations were made and he was beheaded in 1481 CE. Bahmani kingdom started declining after his death. 5 Shahi Sultans of Deccan declared independence, Adil Shahis of Bijapura, Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, etc. So now let us move on to the next and the last 5-mark question, that is, trace the factors responsible for creating unity among Kannadigas during the unification movement. So factors for creating unity among Kannadigas during the unification movement. Okay, so factors for the unity among Kannadigas. So the first factor which brought about unity among Kannadigas during the unification movement were newspapers. Many newspapers like Samyukta Karnataka, then Vishala Karnataka, etc. brought about a feeling of unity among the Kannadigas. So newspapers played a very important role in bringing unity. So Samyukta Karnataka, Vishala Karnataka, etc. were some of the newspapers which brought about unity. Next was a famous personality, that is Alur Venkatarao. He wrote a very famous book, that is Karnataka Gata Vaibhava. So this book also brought about the feeling of nationalism among the people of Karnataka. So the book written by Alur Venkatarao, Karnataka Gata Vaibhava, also played a very important role in bringing unity among the people of Karnataka. Next was many institutions. Many institutions brought about unity among the people. Some of the institutions, one was Karnataka Vidyavardhaka Sangha. Another institution was Kannada Sahitya Parishad, etc. So like this, there were many institutions which brought about unity among the or the feeling of unity among the people of Karnataka. So institutions like Karnataka Vidyavardhaka Sangha, Kannada Sahitya Parishad, etc. also brought about the feeling of unity. So first factor is newspapers like Samyukta Karnataka, Vishala Karnataka, etc. Second is the book Karnataka Gata Vaibhava written by Alur Venkatarao. Third, many institutions were there like Karnataka Vidyavardhaka Sangha, Kannada Sahitya Parishad, all brought about the feeling of unity. Now the fourth factor which brought about unity was many poets. There were many poets who wrote different poems which inspired the people. So some of the poets were, first is Huligol Narayan Rao, Shantakavi, Kuvempu, Mangesh Pai, so many poets. The list goes on. So there were many poets like Huligol Narayan Rao, Shantakavi, Kuvempu, Mangesh Pai, all those who wrote many poems which inspired the people. For example, the poems like Rakshisu Karnataka Devi, Jaya Bharata Janniya Tanujate, all these poems inspired the people and brought a feeling of unity among the Kannadigas during the unification movement. So the works of many poets also brought unification. The next one was Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee. Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, which was also known as KPCC, Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, and also Karnataka Sabha. These organizations took up the cause of unification. They started working for the cause of unification. Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee and Karnataka Sabha, they took up the cause of unification. This Karnataka Sabha later became Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti. Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti. It was later called as Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti, and its first president, the first president of Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti was Siddappa Kambli. Okay, so organizations like Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee and Karnataka Sabha took up the cause of unification, and Karnataka Sabha later came to be called as Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti, and its first president was Siddappa Kambli. So these also were the factors which brought about unification among the people of Karnataka during the unification movement. The next, the sixth factor was Gandhiji also accepted the formation of linguistic states. Gandhiji accepted the concept or the idea of linguistic states, and this happened during the Belgaum Congress session, session of the Congress in 1924. So Gandhiji already had accepted the concept of linguistic states in the Belgaum Congress session in 1924. So this also was a supporting factor for the unification. And the Nehru Committee, it recommended the unification of Karnataka. Unification of Karnataka was recommended by the Nehru Committee in 1928. So Nehru Committee recommended the unification of Karnataka in 1928. So Gandhiji supported the formation of linguistic states during the Belgaum Congress session in 1924, and Nehru Committee recommended the unification of Karnataka in 1928. Now the last factor which brought about a unification or a sense of unity was the efforts of leaders. So many leaders have worked towards the unification of Karnataka. The efforts of leaders, many leaders are there. Some of the leaders, one is Alur Venkatrao, then Siddhappa Kambli, S. Nijalingappa, then Andanappa Doddameti. All these leaders brought about, or they worked very hard for bringing the unification of Karnataka. So efforts of leaders like Alur Venkatrao, Siddhappa Kambli, S. Nijalingappa, Andanappa Doddameti, etc. So all these were the factors responsible for creating unity among Kannadigas during the unification movement. So I hope it is clear. So let us see the answer once more, point by point. So the question is, trace the factors responsible for creating unity among Kannadigas during the unification of Karnataka. The newspapers like Samyukta Karnataka, Vishala Karnataka, etc. Alur Venkatrao wrote the famous book Karnataka Gada Vaibhava. Institutions like Karnataka Vidyavardhaka Sangha, Kannada Sahitya Parishad, etc. Many poets like Huligol Narayan Rao, Shantakavi, Kuvempu, Mangesh Pai, etc. wrote poems like Rakshisu Karnataka Devi, Jaya Bharata Janniya Tanujate, etc. Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee and Karnataka Sabha took up the cause of unification. Karnataka Sabha later became Karnataka Ekikarana Samiti, and its first president was Siddhappa Kambli. Gandhiji also accepted the formation of linguistic states during the Belgaum Congress session in 1924. The Nehru Committee recommended the unification of Karnataka in 1928. The efforts of many leaders like Alur Venkatrao, Siddhappa Kambli, S. Nijalingappa, Andanappa Doddameti, etc. So all these factors brought about the feeling of unity among Kannadigas. So next I am going to explain the match the following. So in between you have 4 10-mark question in your paper. So those questions I will be explaining in the coming videos. So I will be explaining the 36th question, that is match the following. Question with the correct answer I will be telling. Kulapati, head of family. Grihapati or Kulapati is the head of the family. Panini, Mahabhashya. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Home Rule League movement. Shivaji, Chhatrapati, and Chandragupta to Vikramaditya. This is the correct answer for the questions. Match the following. Now, the last question is arrange the following in chronological order. First I will read the question, then I will tell you the correct order. The question is establishment of Gupta dynasty, birth of Basaveshwara, formation of Dhar committee, composition of Rig Veda, and establishment of Vijayanagara Empire. So if you see in this, the first, in the order of what happened first, the first will be composition of Rig Veda, that is almost 1500 BC, composition of Rig Veda. After that, if you see, it will be establishment of Gupta dynasty, actually approximately 3rd century, 3rd CE, Gupta era was established. but the actual Gupta era came into the original, or the achievements were made mostly, that is 320 to 335 CE. We can call it as Gupta era, but the establishment is approximately 3 CE. So establishment of Gupta era is the second. The third, if you see, it will be birth of Basaveshwara. After that, establishment of Vijayanagara Empire 1336 CE. And the last will be formation of Dhar Committee, which happened in 1948 for the reorganization of states. So this is how you have to write the answer. You have to write in the correct order what happened first. What the years are not needed, that I have just written for you to understand. But when you write the answer for your exams, you have to write the correct order. You have to write number 1, composition of Rigveda; 2, establishment of Gupta dynasty; 3, birth of Basaveshwara; 4, establishment of Vijayanagara Empire; and 5, formation of Dhar Committee. Like this, the correct order you have to write. So with this, we have finished the 5-mark questions and match the following in chronological order. Now in this paper, we are left with the map question and the 10-mark 4 questions are there. So I'll be explaining that in the coming videos. So I hope you have understood all these points very clearly. If you have any doubts, you can feel free to ask in the comment section. And please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, because your likes, shares and comments will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.